And starting off with number one, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we've known who they were going to draft for, was it 6 months at this point when they locked up the number one overall pick. It's Trevor Lawrence. Come on now.
Yeah, this don't get too cute, guys. Let's just not spend any time. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence. He's the most complete quarterback on the market, most complete player, been talked about for a while. At this point, Jacksonville would be doing a huge detriment to themselves not drafting him, not if he's good or bad, but just because everyone would assume that since everyone's been talking about Trevor Lawrence as number one and they didn't take him, that that they're just a bad franchise. So you kind of already, the media and the whole NFL universe has already made this pick for them. Kind of makes their job easy.
You have to. Now for the Jets, I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that it is going to be Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it is. And it kind of has to be too, because everyone's done everyone's done their evaluation and everyone's done he throws like Patrick Mahomes. He's got that, baseball arm. He can throw from all these different launch angles and different platforms. And
he has the hair. I think that's the most important aspect.
Exactly. He's got the hair, but he doesn't have the captaincy. He wasn't a captain at BYU, all that stuff. And you talk about all these things, but at the end of the day, he's got very good arm talent. He's got a good grasp. He's mobile enough. It's not the person I would take at number two, but it's the person I think the Jets are going to take at number two.
And he's not a bad pick by any stretch of the imagination. He's definitely going to be better than Sam Darnold. And if he isn't, I'll eat something that tastes bad. I can tell you that.
Wow, if he's worse really putting yourself on a limb there.
I know. What's a hot thing? I'll just like chug and eat a few habaneros. Call it good. I guess. I can't think of anything good right now. So if you have something harder than that, but no like ghost peppers or anything yellow crazy, I'm good on that. But the third pick is where things can get a little interesting on this one. I really hope, for your sake, for the NFL's sake, for the Niners just being smart, I really hope it's not Mac Jones, because he is not a third overall pick. But for me, the 49ers, and one thing that was telling Alex is, I don't know if you saw this, but when Kyle Shanahan was over at Justin Fields' pro day, Justin Fields was dropping back with his right foot back, whereas most of the college days he spent his left, he dropped back with his left foot back, and most of Kyle Shanahan's offensive quarterbacks have the right foot back. So are we reading into too far into things? Yeah, probably. But I think Justin Fields is more of a quarterback for that Niners offense anyway. So that's what I'm going with.
So, Justin Fields is the interesting case with the Niners because he's got a long track record with the Shanahans. They went to his dad's camp, Mike Shanahan's camp, when he was in
Shout
eighth grade.
Mike Shanahan. Thanks for the Super Bowls for the Broncos.
Incredible coach. So Justin Fields went to their camp in Atlanta 10 years ago, worked with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has known this kid for probably 7, 8 years, 10 years. And so he's got every piece of knowledge that he needs to know about Justin Fields that he could possibly ever do. So when people were, making all these comments like, Kyle Shanahan didn't go to Justin Fields' pro day, they're definitely going Mac Jones. It's because he already knows him. He doesn't need to go to his pro day. What he wants to do and what Justin Fields is doing recently in the last round of pro days that was specifically geared towards that Niners offense, kind of like you were talking about. They just wants to be able to see that Justin Fields can integrate into their system. And instead of doing that, after they've drafted them and after they already get them in camp, they're just doing that process before the draft. And I think that's going to send Kyle Shanahan any information that he needs to know to actually make this pick, because a lot of the times that we've seen in the past 3 to 4 years with the Niners is whoever Kyle Shanahan likes for his system, at least on offense, that's the guy he gets. John Lynch is not the one making those final calls on personnel for the offense. It's Kyle Shanahan. And I think Kyle Shanahan's guy that he went up to number 3 to get, it was not Mac Jones. It could be Justin Fields, but I think the number 2 quarterback in this draft, arguably number 1 tool-wise, is Trey Lance. Trey Lance, to me, is incredible. He's the prototypical new age 2021 quarterback because he's got a massive arm. Accuracy short and accuracy middle, not the greatest, but he's got the power to drive it into those windows. He's played in a pro-style system in North Dakota. Does not turn the ball over. All of 2019 in an undefeated season where they go actually through playoffs. The FCS goes through playoffs. He did not throw one interception.
That's ridiculous.
Had over 1,000 rushing yards. In the one game he played in 2021, which was like his showcase game, he threw an interception. He did not have it with the arm, but he ran for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, we're talking about a guy that has Josh Allen's skill set, Josh Allen's arm talent, Josh Allen's chip on the shoulder, but he's not as big as Josh Allen, but significantly faster. Runs like Josh Allen. People, defenders, corners, middle linebackers, safeties bounce off this guy. He's got a couple plays where he's running over people in the end zone. He has every single tool he needs to be able to be successful in the NFL. He could be a top 5 talent. They're going to keep Jimmy G for a year. Jimmy G can do whatever he needs to do to teach Trey Lance the system, but Trey Lance has Patrick Mahomes upside. He's got Josh Allen upside. He's got this kind of upside because of all the tools he has. And Kyle Shanahan would be the perfect person to pair him with. If they got Trey Lance, I would be ecstatic. If they got Justin Fields, I would be ecstatic. If they got Mac Jones, I would be devastated.
Moving on to number 4.
Whew.
I was trying to debate this one. I was thinking the Broncos they're going to make a trade on night 1 or before night 1, but it's between the Falcons and another team. I end up not being the Falcons because I think they might be able to hold off on this for their sake. But the Falcons, if they stay at that number 4 spot, they are going to be taking a tight end. And what better guy to take than the best tight end and arguably the best receiving player in the draft? That's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, if the Falcons keep this pick, I see no other way than drafting Kyle Pitts. I don't think they'll keep this pick. I think someone ends up trading, whether that's the Lions, whether that's the Broncos, whether that's the Patriots trying to sneak up there, whether that's a completely new team. It could even be the Eagles going up there, trading back up to get a quarterback. There's a couple teams that 4th pick is obviously, and I think it's all going to depend on who the Niners take at 3, because if a team has a quarterback, whether it's Fields, whether it's Lance, or whether it's even Mac Jones that they want, that is there at 4, they're going to be aggressive and go up and get that guy.
Yeah.
And so I think the Broncos are going to do that because I think Trey Lance goes 3. Broncos see a guy that can play in that system, that is mobile enough, is going to remind them a little bit of a jumbo John Elway. And Justin Fields would be a perfect fit. They have the receiving talent. Their defense is got some holes, but it's a very, very good foundationally defense. And with Vic Fangio, they're always going to have an above average defense. So you put Justin Fields, you put a guy like that in there, and I think it's worth trading your 3rd round pick this year, your 1st round pick this year, and probably a future 1st as well. So I think the Broncos trade up, they grab their quarterback, and they punt on trying to get Deshaun Watson and get another guy that is just a little jumbo version.
And I would not complain if that were to go down. Next for the Bengals, though, is I'm really worried about them, to be honest. I am really worried about this Bengals team. I am being cautiously optimistic with what they should do. Whether they will do it or not, who knows? But the best offensive lineman in prospect in years and years is available in this draft. He's going to be available at the spot. Bengals, don't let Joe Burrow get another torn ACL. Please do something with the offensive line. Please take Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I mean, this is the dream pick. This is the pick we've been talking about for months and months and months. And
it's actually going to fall into his lap now.
The Bengals just need to. And here's the problem: they're going to fall into his lap, and they're going to pass on him because they brought in Riley Reif. They said, here's the thing: is they didn't bring in Riley Reif to protect Joe Burrow. They brought in Riley Reif to protect themselves and the front office from fans saying they didn't address their offensive line. They say, oh no, we got this guy that was elite a couple years ago. He's way past his prime now, but he's going to protect our Joe Burrow. I promise. And they're going to draft Jamar Chase, and they're going to have a nasty receiving core. They're going to have a nasty quarterback. They're going to have no defense, no offensive line, and no wins to show for it. And that's going to be the Bengals 2021 unless they draft Penei Sewell. But I'm going to say they're going to draft Jamar Chase because that's no fun to draft an offensive lineman. You want to draft the big, tall, receiver that played with Joe Burrow.
Who knows, Alex? As long as the offense line gets to him, Joe Burrow, 2 seconds, he could that's enough time to take 2 steps back and throw the ball up as far as you can. I guess that's what they're going to be with offensively. Then for the 6th pick, the Dolphins, and they have a plethora of choices I really think they can go with here. There's a lot of different options that the Dolphins could do. Hell, they might be able to even trade back a little bit more too. So I think they end up keeping this. So they go receiver. They go Alabama receiver, but they go Jalen Waddle.
So here's the thing is I think Jalen Waddle has a much higher ceiling than Devontae Smith because we've never seen someone quite like Jalen Waddle. He's got burst. He's got top end speed. He's got quickness. He's an incredible route runner, has really good hands, very elusive, very smart. We have not seen someone with that kind of package before, but you have that black cloud hanging over his head of that ankle injury, and you saw him in the championship game. And I honestly think that it was so admirable for him to go out on that, and he was clearly hobbled by that ankle. It was clearly not 100%, but he still went out there. And I don't know if that hurt or helped his stock because he looked, very, very hampered by it. He was hurt by it. And that was 3 months removed from the injury. And so unless you are confident as a medical staff that ankle is going to fully heal 100% and he's going to be able to get back to that athleticism he had in 2019 and the start of 2020, I think he's got a higher ceiling than Devontae Smith, but his floor is so much lower. So, where I agree with you and the aggressor in me wants to go take Jalen Waddle because I think he could be incredible. And I've never seen a receiver with as much explosiveness as him. But Devontae Smith is so smooth, is so pure.
Yeah, he is
such a prototypical number 1 receiver where he can run every single route in the route tree, has worked with Tua. They came up together. They're in the same recruiting class. They came up the ranks, that championship year. Tua threw that ball to Devontae Smith. He didn't throw it to Judy, not to Waddle, not to Ruggs. He threw it to Devontae Smith. So they already have rapport. I think that's the logical pick there. If they want to get cute, they want to get aggressive, go take Jalen Waddle. But I think Devontae is going to be the pick there.
And now for me, it's really close between these two guys. It's really hard to choose between the two, quite frankly. It's almost like really the better receiver of the two, like as of them getting drafted, it's probably going to be a coin flip at this point. But I mean, either guy would be a good pick for the Dolphins. Now, the next one is the Lions currently have the 7th pick in the draft, but they're not going to on draft night because the Broncos are going to trade up to 7. They're at 9. They're going to move to 7 because I think they still might be able to get Trey Lance with this pick, and that is who they're going to go with. Since I believe the Niners are going to go after Justin Fields. If anything, the Broncos might even be able to get Justin Fields at 7. I think once you make it through the first 3 picks, maybe 4 with the Falcons, we'll talk about that in a second, you should be able to get the quarterback that you want, but the Broncos are going to have to contend with the Detroit Lions about possibly getting a quarterback. So the trade of the peer, Trey Lance is your man. Elway guy with a fat arm. And the only problem is he's not 6'5", but at least Elway is not going to be drafting for the first time in a while. We get George Patton, and he does the right choice.
Yeah, and so this is where I think that the Broncos, they obviously can't draft here because they already drafted at 4 in my little mock draft here. So I think the Detroit Lions are going to stay there. They need help on the outside. They lost their big guy, Kenny Golladay. And I think with Jared Goff there, he's clearly not the quarterback of the future there. So you could go quarterback here.
Really? He's not the quarterback of the future? No way.
I mean, come on. Well, he's getting paid. He's getting paid like it. I'll tell you that much. But he is clearly not going to be there for a while. So instead of reaching for Mac Jones here, or instead of trying to trade up and go to get that guy early, I think they have to just go best player available here. And I think that's Jalen Waddle. I'm tempted here to take Pitts because he's still on the board here, but it's hard to warrant that when you just used the 9th overall pick 2 years ago on a tight end. And so 2 out of the 3, your last 3 years drafting a top 10 player and they're both being tight ends is kind of hard to fathom and stomach as a front office. But I think they go Waddle. I think they go Waddle here. I think he's great. He's going to be great in a dome. He's going to be great where he's got a fast track. And I don't know. It's just something about Jalen Waddle. I really, really love his game. And I think he's going to be incredible wherever he ends up.
And now going on into the 8th pick now, that is the Carolina Panthers. And I think there's a theme here. They've been building up that defense. Last year's draft, I think they continue on with that. And the way where they would put their money in this one, so to say, is in Patrick Surtain, the cornerback, and which is a position that the Panthers are not. I would say, Alex, if you want to put it lightly, they do not really excel at that position right now. So Patrick is going to be a fantastic acquisition for them. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go offensive tackle in this pick as well.
Yeah, I think Rashawn Slater's on the board here. I think Darrisaw's on the board here. Mm-hmm. I think one thing they have to do is they have to address their tight end position. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Pitts falls to them in the real draft here. But in this little mock scenario we got here where we have the Broncos trading up to grab Fields and 4 quarterbacks going and 3 receivers going, I think they just take the next best player on the board, which to me is Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to address a massive gap where currently on the Panthers roster, I think they have Dan Arnold and Ian Thomas, which is just not going to get the job done, especially if you want to give Sam Darnold, that safety blanket. He actually used the tight ends a lot when he was with the Jets, and he used the tight ends a lot when he was at USC. So he's clearly a guy that has the arm strength to get it in tight windows over the middle. Kyle Pitts is a nightmare over the middle. I don't need to sell this guy as a talent. I don't need to sell this guy as a tight end or as a receiving talent. He's the best tight end we've seen come off the board. I cannot remember a tight end with as high of praise that Kyle Pitts is getting I've ever seen. So getting him anywhere in the top 10 would be a steal. At 8, even better steal.
Now at number 9, it is the Detroit Lions for me, as they traded back with the Denver Broncos. And here is where one of the best, for a lot of people, the biggest and the highest rated wide receiver prospect in this draft finally gets drafted. And that is Jamar Chase out of LSU. The Lions get a big guy to replace Kenny Galladay, and the guy that's going to be better than Kenny Galladay ultimately.
Oh, I agree completely. Jamar Chase is an absolute monster, and that's why the Bengals drafted him at 5. But Falcons here at number 9 with the trade from the Broncos are going to address that offensive line. They're going to get their left tackle or right tackle of the future. Rashawn Slater is very, very, very athletic for his size. He's a monster of a human being, can play the right side, can play the left side. I think he projects best as a left tackle because of his athleticism and because of the way he can move his feet. He's going to be very good on the left side. Mm-hmm. So the Falcons drafting that left tackle and getting arguably the best tackle. I think him and Penei Sewell are closer than a lot of people think from a pure prospect standpoint. And that is also why Penei Sewell is getting jumped in this draft. And Rashawn Slater is going to be the first tackle off the board at number 9.
And now in number 10, rounding out our first 10 picks of the first round, that is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. And here, I could see the Patriots trading up for a Mac Jones. I could see that. I don't think it happens, though. And now here's where they take the second best cornerback off the board, and that is J.C. Horn.
And I agree with you on the J.C. Horn pick. What I'm not going to agree with you on is that he's the second best corner. I think he is the best corner in the game right now. I think Caleb Farley's a little better, but he's got his own concerns right now with the injuries. But I think J.C. Horn, son of Joe Horn, is just so physical at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to fit in perfectly with that Cowboys defense. Because the Cowboys defense, their outside guys love to put their hands on receivers, and especially with, just the kind of players that have come through the Cowboys system. They have not had good luck at corner. No. They've had swing and a miss after swing and a miss. And I think J.C. Horn has a very, very high floor. And he's going to be a guy that you can actually sit there and say, okay, I can see this guy being a Cowboy corner for the next 5 years, which is not something you've been able to say about any of their last first round picks.
Right. So if they're able to actually do something right, get the defensive pick, just almost any defender at this point might Seriously, be a good pick for the Cowboys, because that defense is
not good. Not good at all.
It's not good, Cotton. Now, there we go. first 10 picks off the board. That's what it's going to be. I would love to see your guys' picks. So whether you want to drop in the comments or let us know what you would tweak or change with us, or if there's actually going to be a surprise in the first overall pick, which there shouldn't be, guys, please take a chill pill. Don't get into the whole Skip Bayless kind of stuff right now. There is no need for that, but just leave a review, or you could leave a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts with your thoughts about what's going to happen through these first 10 picks of the 2021 NFL draft.